We may honestly be living in a simulation. The top could be in. I'm not even kidding. Because this was predicted back in the year 2023. Just before the day ends, guys. We have to talk about this. Okay? Because this, by the way, this prediction lands on this day. Okay? Bitcoin all-time high October 6th of 2025 from Anonymous. I think this was posted on 4chan or one of these sites, guys, where people who want to be anonymous posts. So, on December 12th of 2023, an anonymous user tweeted about Bitcoin's path to the next all-time high and the top of it. Bitcoin all-time high October 6th of 2025. If this plays out, we live in a simulation and this person needs to be found. All-time low 2015 to all-time high 2017 equal 1,064 days. All-time high 2017 to all-time low 2018 equal 364 days. All-time low 2018 to all-time high 2021 equal 1,064 days. All-time high 2021 to all-time low 2022 equal 364 days. The pattern would print the cycle's all-time high on the 6th of October 2025. People want to believe otherwise, but the simulation will repeat itself. This is what you call nasty work. He literally says on October 6th of 2025, it will mark this cycle's all-time high. Well, talking about today, Bitcoin created an all-time high and we're starting to dump from that period, right, from that point. I think it was at 126k. Now we're about 124k. And here's a chart that shows the pattern more clearly. I'm seeing a lot of chatter about cycles lasting 1,064 days, and the cycle top therefore being today. So here's from the bottom of the 2015 cycle to the top of that cycle took 1,064 days. From the bottom to the top, 1,064 days. From the bottom to the top takes us to October 20th. Cycle top projection. So could we be near the top here? Is the real question. Right? Remember, this was posted back in the year 2023. Here's a data point. The first Hebrew year began on a new moon, which was declared to have occurred on Sunday, October 6th. And you know they love doing rituals on specific dates and time frames. This is a big warning to everyone. Breaking, gold officially crosses above $4,000 per ounce for the first time in history. Gold is now worth $27 trillion. Why is gold rampaging higher? And non-stop, by the way. It just keeps creating new all-time highs. Like, this is what you call a parabola. And it's not stopping at all. Then you got silver. Just hit a new all-time high of $48.64 per ounce. Why? You know why? It's because people want to hedge of something disastrous and coming, such as Jeff Bezos calls AI a giant bubble. This warning comes from Jeff Bezos himself. Investors don't usually give a team of 6 people a couple $1 billion with no product, and that's happening today. So this is my first time watching it with you guys. Let's see what he has to say.
Well, okay, so to take you back in time, in the year 2000, when the internet bubble burst, Amazon's stock, in a very short period of time, went from $113 a share to $6 a share. And by the way, it's split many times since then. I don't know, 20 for 1 or maybe.
Interesting. So back when the previous bubble burst, right, the .com bubble, Amazon was $113 per share and it went to $6. And it survived that crisis, which made it to where it is right now. Which is why I believe XRP will survive this incoming crisis, the collapse, to be integrated into the new financial system. Right? Amazon is now the home of everything.
Even more. I don't have the number. But so these prices have nothing to do with today's stock prices. But to go from 113 to 6 in a short period of time was very concerning. And shareholders were upset. Employees were nervous. We had all of our employee base, their parents were all calling our employees and saying, "Are you okay?" You know, this was the environment of great nervousness.
Just imagine investing through that time, guys. Okay? I don't know if any of you guys have, but I would imagine it to be very scary. Extremely scary, actually. Imagine 90% of your portfolio dissipating, vanishing right before your eyes. Everything you have worked hard for, gone in a split second. Everyone would probably sell. The only people who would have survived that is the people who had great conviction in their investments, which the XRP community has, and that's XRP.
But I looked at the number.
Or for XRP.
This was the environment of great nervousness. But I looked at the numbers in the business. And every month, as the stock price went from 113 to 6, a number of customers went up every month. Our gross profits went up every month. Our operating expense, we were still in a loss position, but our losses as a percentage of sales went down every month. Every single business metric, new customers, customer repeat purchases, everything that we were monitoring through that entire period kept getting better.
Wow, that's exactly what we talked about. That's what you call a divergence. Fundamentally, Amazon was doing this, okay? It was skyrocketing behind the hood, but the stock price did this, died due to the crisis. Which one was correct? Right? The fundamental of the company, okay? Which then price caught up later on. And now look where it's at today. The same thing with XRP. During the collapse, whatever's incoming, there is no issue fundamentally wrong with XRP or Ripple.
And so that's one observation about bubbles in general. The fundamentals can be disconnected, the fundamentals of the business. And of course, as entrepreneurs, you're focused on the fundamentals of the business. The stock price is an output, an ultimate output that you actually have very little control over. Benjamin Graham, the great investor, is famous for saying, in the short term, the stock market is a voting machine. In the long term, it's a weighing machine. And so as founders and entrepreneurs and business people, our job is to build a heavy company. We want to build a company that when it is weighed, it is a very heavy company. We do not want to focus on the stock price. And so that is, that would be misleading because it can be disconnected from the fundamentals. And
wow, that's such a beautiful analogy. It keeps reminding me of XRP. Remember, this goes back to AI being a bubble here. Okay, so I'm sorry for pausing too much, but I have to give my 2 cents here because they weren't worried about Amazon's stock price, right? They're focused more on the business side, on behind the hood, behind the scenes. Okay, the fundamental underlying issues. They're focused on that. It reminds me of XRP, right? XRP's price isn't skyrocketing, but Ripple is working on the rails of the new financial system. Then price would have to catch up. It's force. There's a magnetic force, energy to it.
when bubbles happen, so that's one thing that happens. The second thing that happens when people get very excited, as they are today about artificial intelligence, for example, is every experiment gets funded. Every company gets funded. The good ideas and the bad ideas. And investors...
So now he's talking about the AI bubble, and he's saying that if your company is attached to AI, you're just going to get funded. Which means he calls this a bubble, which may repeat, which could lead to the collapse, which is why precious metals are skyrocketing.
And investors have a hard time in the middle of this excitement distinguishing between the good ideas and the bad ideas. And so that's also probably happening today. But it doesn't mean that anything that's happening isn't real. Like, AI is real, and it is going to change every industry. In fact,
exactly. I believe that AI will be everywhere, guys. I believe that AI will become conscious one day. We're going to have little robots or full-size robots communicating with us, and they're going to have their own consciousness. That's just my belief.
It's a very unusual technology in that regard, in that it's a horizontal enabling layer. Today we talk about AI-first companies like OpenAI and Anthropic and Mistral and so on and so on and so on. There are so many startup companies that are kind of AI companies of various kinds, and that's normal for this phase. But that is not the biggest impact that AI is going to have. The biggest impact that AI is going to have is it is going to affect every company in the world. It is going to make their quality go up and their productivity go up. I mean, by every company, I literally mean every company, every manufacturing company, every...
It's a net benefit because that means we, the people, wouldn't have to work any longer, right? The robots would take the people, everyone's jobs, but we'll be getting free income from the government, right? The world will become more creative. That's where your creativity needs to come into play, okay? Where we don't have to waste our energy on physical labor and such nonsense, guys, right? We were made for better. things. We're not here to waste our energy and time on running companies. We're here to build and create.
Hotel every,
Which AI will help do that, because AI will take its energy on boring jobs.
hell, every consumer products company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so that is hard to fathom, but it's real. There is no doubt. We don't know how long it will take exactly. We don't know how quickly that transition will occur. It'll probably occur at different rates in different industries, but that is very real. Now, what the stock market does, which is when we think of bubbles, we think of valuations and market caps and things like this, and how many billions of dollars are being invested in these 6 people at a $20 billion valuation, even though they just started yesterday, right? That's very unusual behavior. Investors don't usually give a team of 6 people a couple of $1 billion with no product. It's rare, and that's happening today. But the great
Which is why he calls it a bubble. It's the same thing with cryptos. If you're like a TradFi company and you attach your company to blockchain technology, it's gonna boom. What happened to Michael Saylor and these other companies that are adding Bitcoin to their portfolios, right? Companies' balance sheets. AI has an exponential growth, right? Because it keeps collecting all this data, and it gets better and better by the day, by the second.
But the great thing about industrial bubbles, this is a kind of industrial bubble, as opposed to financial bubbles, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. If you go back, like the 90s had a biotech bubble, and there were a bunch of pharma startup companies that were designing drugs and using new techniques, and the world got very excited, the investment world got very excited. As a group, they all lost money, but we did get a couple of life-saving drugs. A bubble like a banking bubble, the crisis in the banking system, that's just bad. That's like 2008. And so those bubbles society wants to avoid. The ones that are industrial are not nearly as bad. They could even be good, because when the dust settles and you see who are the winners, society benefits from those inventions.
XRP is a winner, no doubt in my mind. XRP is in that damn basket of its winning.
They still get those life-saving drugs. And that's what's going to happen here too. This is real. The benefits to society from AI are going to be gigantic.
And if we go back 25 years ago, when the internet was in that bubblish moment, no one would have predicted a lot of the industrial benefits of that industrial bubble. And the fiber, huge investments that were put in infrastructure.
It's a perfect example. That all of that fiber optic cable that got laid, and by the way, the companies who laid all that cable went out of business.
Yup. The first products always gets updated and upgraded, guys, by better technology. Okay? So that's the game plan. There's a reason what's happening here. There is a giant bubble forming, which is kind of scary to think about. But I think this is for later, not yet. And I don't think we have topped either, even though this post suggests that we have, and this was posted years ago. But I guess time will tell. We'll see what happens. This isn't Financial Advice. But anyways, that's all for this amazing. See ya, and I hope you learned or two. Please like today's video, and thank you.